Have a good night.
Good evening, welcome to the late news from BBC Channel Islands. Shop owners in Jersey are being encouraged to put their wares online in a bid to boost sales at home and overseas. The Economic Development Department says it'll also help drive footfall towards the high street. Gillian Martindale has this report.
Online or on the high street, each offering unique shopping experiences. But what if local retailers could offer both? Well, that's exactly what Jersey's Economic Development Department are suggesting to boost business and grow the ailing economy.
What we're now looking at is working, hopefully jointly with the Chamber of Commerce, on a retail development strategy, part of which will be around what we call the bricks and mortar, the shops in King Queen Street. But also we'd like to see far more Jersey retail businesses go online so that they can trade with people in Jersey online as well as through the conventional shop front.
But the owner of one of Jersey's largest high street stores and chairman of the Retail and Supply Committee isn't convinced it's right for the local market.
I think those businesses that see their market as Jersey will not be that interested in a transactional website, but they will want to use the website to communicate with their customers. Those businesses that have a business plan to expand overseas may well want a transactional website, and it will be for them to decide.
So what do local shoppers think?
I think it's a good idea to give us a second choice to people who can't get into town very often with all the parking problems.
I think it's a good idea. People need to be able to have a flexible way of shopping, so to come into town sometimes if the weather's bad, it's easy to shop online.
So it's convenient for islanders, but in an economy that's hard for the high street, is more online presence a step or click too far? Gillian Martindale, BBC Channel Islands News, Jersey.
Well, the Jersey Chamber of Commerce, which represents hundreds of Jersey businesses, has given the plan a cautious welcome. But they're also calling for action on parking to help existing shops. I spoke to David Waugh from the Chamber earlier today.
I think it's a good idea. It's a positive step forward. The reality is that 17% of all retail shopping is now carried out online, and we have to appreciate that that's not going to get any less, but we've got to somehow contain that.
So what we're talking about then, is it that every shop in Jersey must have an Amazon-type website where all their products are uploaded? I mean, that's going to be a lot of effort for them.
It's a lot of cost, and obviously that expertise isn't necessarily within those businesses at the moment. And so clearly that's where government, working with business, can maybe help and offer that expertise and that training along the way, because obviously businesses themselves may well not have that resource.
But if they do set up these online shops and they're terribly successful, might it be the death of the high street?
I don't think it'll ever be the death of the high street. I think people still want to meet together. I think there's still that community feel within shops. I think the crucial bit is about the bigger strategy and the wider strategy, and that's about car parking, which is being in the news recently, and how do we get people to visit shops a bit more and meet up and make it easier for them. At the end of the day, online shopping is extremely easy. It's one-click shopping. What we want is one-click parking as well.
Yes, parking has been a bugbear of yours for a while, I know. Is there a sense then that the government kind of encouraging shops to go online is a bit like them sort of getting out of the parking issue, if you like? Would you like to see more action on parking?
I rather hope not. I mean, and I don't believe it is. I think the reality is that we have to. There are two offers here. There's the local offer to people in on an everyday high street, and then there's those people who are working all day who want to have a similar experience, but maybe online. But they want to have both experiences. So I don't think we'll ever see the end of the high street for sure.
What needs to happen to make these small businesses be able to take advantage of the online opportunity?
There are a whole series of packages. I mean, I think one is government obviously working with businesses in whatever way they can, whether that's helping them build websites and giving them expertise and training in that kind of area. I think it's about also encouraging sustainability of town on a wider scale. We also have at the moment a customer services award scheme going on, which is trying to develop businesses and their interactions with customers. There's a whole series of things which can be done, not necessarily all done by the government, but in certainly different aspects of government can make a real impact and real difference to the sustainability of retail on Jersey.
Meanwhile, Guernsey's economic growth forecast for this year has been significantly downgraded to 0%. The bailiwick's economy had been expected to grow by 1.9%, but the state's economist is now predicting it'll be flat. Penny Elderfield sent this report from our Guernsey newsroom.
Well, you only have to look at the rest of the world, the weak economic recovery in Europe and the fact the UK has fallen back into recession to see why the economy in Guernsey may be going the same way. Although things picked up last year with around 1% growth, unemployment did go down and employment up. And similarly, the start of 2012 was looking better. But the impact of the global conditions is being felt here. The Policy Council describes output now as sluggish, and the prediction for growth has been revised to 0%.
So, in layman's terms, Penny, is Guernsey heading back to another recession?
The island would have to see negative growth, and that's not predicted yet, but the Treasury Minister has said the island will do well if it can avoid it. And another thing to consider is the fact the island and the states are relying on some form of growth to help balance the books.
Dealing with the fiscal deficit is reliant on experiencing growth. So what that means is we will have to continue to retain a very strong grip on the fiscal position, on tax and spending, certainly for the rest of this year and going into next year.
And with work going on now to finalise this year's budget, no doubt the figures out today will have to be taken into account.
Well, it's time now for a look at the weekend weather. Here's David Brain.
Hello, good evening. More fine weather to enjoy across the islands. Warm too, with temperatures tomorrow back up to 21, 22 degrees. And light winds as well. The setup for the next few days keeps this area of high pressure close by. It does weaken. This is it this evening. By midday tomorrow, it's beginning to move away towards Belgium. And then by the time we get to the end of the weekend, that's when we start to see quite a big change, because high pressure moves away and low pressure starts to move in. This cold front here will introduce quite a big change as it sweeps through the islands Sunday night and into Monday. So until then, there's a lot of dry weather to enjoy, a lot of fine weather, quite chilly during the night time. Overnight tonight, we'll see temperatures getting just about into single figures in the heart of the two larger islands, around the coastline 12 or 13, but 9 or 10 elsewhere. Tomorrow, a lovely day with plenty of that warm sunshine to enjoy after a chilly start, and we'll see temperatures up to 21 or 22 degrees, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. More fine weather as we move through the next few days as well, although more cloud next week.
And that's the late news and weather from BBC Channel Islands. I'm back here on BBC One tomorrow evening at 6:30. I'll see you then. Good night.
Hello there. It's going to feel warm.